What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with another weekly NIO update video where we take a look at how NIO stock traded this past week, recap some key pieces of news we saw, take a look at future levels of support and resistance, and based on that, what we think NIO stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on NIO are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Real quick before we get into the video, I recently made a Patreon. I know a lot of you guys were interested in other stocks that I look at besides the one that I make videos on. So I'll be sharing that on there, stocks that I see value in, stocks that I think are oversold and are looking to reverse. And then I'll also share some options plays that I take on for kind of longer term investment and longer term growth. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to sign up for that Patreon down below. It'll be in the description. And then the other question I get is, what platform am I using? I'm using Webull for the videos. So if you like what you see with Webull, if you think it's an interface that you want to use for charting and such, I'm also dropping a referral link down in the description. If you sign up using that link, we both get some free shares. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, link in the description below. So let me hit record. We will get right into it. So as we know, not the best week for NIO stock, right? We are looking for a little bit of a breakout, but the kind of trend has been pretty similar throughout the course of the week. And, first things first, right? We started the week in the 59s, ended in the 56s, but it's relative weakness in most of the cases, right? So what happens is we sell off right out of the gate. Our support levels have actually held up really nicely this week, which is something that I'm happy about because it gives us a little bit of indication of what the stock could do as we start moving forward. So we sold off down to this 54 number, pushed up on Monday, right? And then Tuesday, same thing, sold off, bounced off the same level. And then this time we couldn't break into our next level. And then again, Wednesday, same thing, right? On repeat, sold off, except this time we did bounce really nicely, pushed up, came back down to bounce off of our level, and then pushed up, rejected by this level. Then we briefly made it above our 58 level, but then again, right out of the gate, sell off, flat, and then Friday, right out of the gate, sell off, flat. So what we've seen this week is right out of the gate, we've seen crazy sell-offs, and then some days, right, like this, rebounded, and then Wednesday rebounded, but other days it kind of just does a whole lot of nothing for the rest of the day. So that's what NIO stock's been doing. Let's cover a little bit of news that we saw this week and why I think that that's actually going to be a pretty nice deal for NIO. So if you guys remember, I covered this a couple days ago, but the municipal government of Wellthy is where actually NIO is headquartered, is building a world-class industrial campus to support the development and innovations of the smart electric vehicle industry and related supply chains led by NIO China. So they're going to basically take a lot of the returns. So if you guys remember last year, right, the Wellthy government put a lot of money into NIO because NIO was very cash poor, if you will. And so they injected cash into the company. And as we saw, right, the stock price has gone, so many X's over. So they're taking some of that money from their equity profits and kind of reinvesting it into the company, which is great for the company because NIO currently needs kind of that recurring growth, something to both, push it forward in terms of the technology that they have, but establishing a solid base in Wellthy as well. So that's great news for the company. This is the deal I was talking about. They got 3.3% of the company for 5.5 billion yuan, which is $850 million in April 2020. That's when NIO was kind of struggling, right? The other kind of news that came out this past week was that NIO would be partnering with Red Star McAllen Group to build 60 charging and battery swapping stations. And this is kind of great. And the top Chinese investment bank, CICC, expects NIO to benefit from strong demand ahead of the Chinese New Year. So the reason why I think this is great, right, is because I've talked about this over and over again. One of the key advantages that NIO has is this battery swap station. Pretty much you go in, battery taken out, battery put in. Of course, it's a machine doing it. And you can go in and out, I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes rather than having to wait even like 20-30 minutes for a quick charge. So that's great news for the company because it's similar to the way gas stations work, right? You can pull up, pump gas, leave rather than having to sit there in your car as it trickle charges or slowly charges, whatever you want to call it. So I think that's going to be great news. Again, it's a lot of it's about the infrastructure that NIO is putting in, which means a lot of money up front. But hopefully, if they can continue the growth that they have, right, we could see them kind of exploding in China. So all that's great news for NIO stock. What does that mean for the stock itself, right? So if we take a look here, what we are monitoring right now, you guys, is this bull pennant that's forming. So this line coming in and then this line coming up. And so far, right, we had to move this bottom line down just a little bit because it was hitting up against it. But I think this new bull pennant that we formed a couple days ago has held up really nicely. So let's see what we have coming up from levels of support and levels of resistance. So levels of support wise, right, we are right at this 56s level. If I go back to the Friday chart, we are right below that, right? So depending on whether we open above it or below it, right, our level is at 56.69, we are at 56.78. So if we open above it, I think that that's our first level of support in the 56.60, high 60s, right? And if we open up above it, it should act as support. If we open up below it, it could be a little bit of a resistance. And then after this level of support, what we also have is we also have the 21 EMA here, right, in the 56.68. And then we've got this line right here, which tomorrow should be in the high 54s, right, the 55 mark, where I'm hoping that we see a bounce for this bull pennant to still be valid. If we don't see a bounce, it's really crucial that we at least close above it for this to keep going. The other thing is this 54 kind of 54.50s line, right, that we are looking at. That's our next level of support. So if we don't stop at the 55, then we should stop in the mid 54s because that's our next level of support, which is also where our 34 EMA is at 54.64. So I said a lot. Let me just recap that real quick. First level of support, this line right here with the 21 EMA 56.68. Second level of support there. Now the next levels that I talk about, they're all really close. This line would be kind of that 55 mark, and then we've got the 34 EMA right at 54.64. So those are the three levels I'm looking at to the downside if we see another red day from NIO. If we see a little bit of a green day, the first level we have to kind of capture is that 8 EMA, which is at $57.42. After that, we've got the 58.43 level, and then we've got the $60.04 level before we hit the top end of this line. That's what we're looking at from the upside. Again, what I think is going to happen is two things can happen, right? And the reason why I'm not super concerned about the way it trades kind of in the next couple of days is my bigger concern now is the breakout potential that we have coming, right? So whether it goes down and hits this line, whether it goes up or hits this line, right? We're talking a difference between, $5 or $6 difference in the stock price. But I think the key here is that the pattern is still valid so that we kind of maybe hit up, come down, consolidate and break out, or come down, maybe go up after and then consolidate and go up. As we could see here, right, we came down, hit up against it, came down, bounced. So we could see a little bit of a consolidation happening here, or we could go up and hit that level as long as we get rejected. Depending on how we act at this 61.40s level could really determine where we start to break out, right? If you guys remember my Palantir update videos, we were looking at this exact pattern and the breakout happened a little bit early, right? But what we're looking at is if it goes to 61, right, the mid 61s, does it get rejected? If it gets rejected, great. We're still trading in the bull pennant. Consolidation is happening and we're waiting for the breakout. But if it just bursts through 61 and then you see a nice green candle, breakout's already started. So that would be kind of the indication that the breakout has already started. My personal goal for this week would be if we can kind of establish the 21 EMA as a level of support, then we start to push up at this 58 and then eventually to the 60s, and then that line will start to come in. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll definitely have to see how it opens up tomorrow and whether it wants to go down to visit this part of the bull pennant, or if it seems like it's got momentum and it wants to break this. It wants to kind of establish the 21 EMA as support, take over the 8 EMA, and then hit that 50, 58 and then 60 mark. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. If you guys want to stay up to date with my other options plays, don't forget to sign up for the Patreon, link down below. If you want Webull, link down below. As always, hope you guys had an amazing weekend. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another update video. Until then, let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.